What's up, my royal priesthood? This dress is how I found out that my pastor was secretly jealous of me. Let's talk about it. What's up, my royal priesthood? It's your girl, Priestess. January 2022, my pastor and I had a conversation concerning some of his critique on my transition, my womanhood, where I stood with the ministry, and just things about me in general. Mind you, I was a pastor before I joined under my former pastor. However, for some reason, he felt the need to demote me to elder for some reason when I had proven the work with the previous churches that I've laid the foundation for. And he had initially told me that he was going to make me pastor again. He just needed to wait a year since I changed reformations, and it was like, whatever. But during that time, he kept stalling with me and kept stalling. Also, during that time, I had opportunities with music that were great. And whenever I started excelling with my social media career, my music career, he would always give a false prophecy stating that God told me not to transition. God didn't want me to take that opportunity. And I'm like, God didn't say that. You're saying that because you feel like it's going to take away from the ministry if I do this, which I'm like, sir, God ain't said all of that. But I at the time that he said these things, I just thought it was pastoral concern, this, that, and the other. But fast forward to the night of his birthday, the theme was formal. He had asked us to be in red and other colors. Cool, no problem. I had a red dress that I was going to wear, and I had worn this dress before to other events, and it's one of my favorite red dresses. I don't wear it often, but when I do wear it, I wear different accessories with it, and I change certain things up about it. Because I paid my money for it, I'm gonna wear it how I want to. So during the course of the dinner, I noticed that former pastor is acting very shady and mean girl. And it was because he was in front of a few of his preacher friends and some of his more popular church friends. Like, okay, see what's going on. I was like, I see what I'm up against now. But what he didn't know, I was already planning on leaving the ministry and cutting him out of my life completely because I just started feeling like I wasn't wanted in that ministry anymore and like I wasn't valued. And so as we're sitting at the table, I hand him his gift during the gift exchange, and he asks me, Yannick, were you tricking to get this? And I look at my friend Chef that had came to the dinner with me and was also a former member. He's like, did he really ask you that at the table? I'm like, yes, he just asked me that. And no one responded. No one checked him. They just kept eating like it was nothing. I said, okay, so now you're trying to embarrass me for some odd reason. Okay. And I couldn't just get up and leave because I knew that would cause a further scene. And my former pastor had this thing that if you defended yourself against him, he would play victim and cry and act like what you did was so offensive to him and that he's trying to be the best pastor he can be. And it's like, no, sir. If you're a pastor, you're supposed to be able to take critique from your members and not act like a child. So that kept me from really saying anything at the table. I talked to people close to my end of the table and I ignored him for the rest of the night. I had made up in my mind that I was going to confront him about that tricking statement. But before I could do it, he calls me to the side as we're walking to the car. And he asks me, mind you, I'm wearing this dress. He says, what do you have on? And he's giving me this disapproving look, like he was disgusted by me. And I'm looking at him, agitated, low key bewildered, but really ticked off. And I didn't know whether he was going to put his hands on me or not. So I was already on alert and ready to fight if I had to. He says to me, well, I don't like your dress. I was like, okay, what's wrong with it? I was like, I've worn this dress before and it wasn't a problem. He was like, I just don't like it. Again, what's the problem with it? I don't know. I don't like it. I said, well, then there is no problem with my dress. You just don't like the dress. And that's fine. I said, you have a good night. At that point, that was when I was done with him. I was done with him at this point. And I then start playing back everything and every critique. And I realized he did not want me around all this time, but he covered it up under friendly pastoral critique. And you have to be careful with people, especially leaders, who critique your every move, who surveil you like a hawk to try to downplay who you are or to make you feel bad about who you are. They're control freaks, number one, but they're also insecure within themselves. So to see you secure in your personhood, in your humanity, makes them feel bad because they're not secure. But if you are a pastor leading people, you're supposed to already be secure in yourself. You can't be an insecure pastor and think you're going to lead people. That doesn't make sense. So please respond to this video or comment below your experiences with jealous people, or if you too had a jealous pastor, let me know your experience and how you removed yourself from that situation. Live, love, and be free. Smooches.